1990s से लेके अभी तक, you have worked and seen 5 different generations. How have you seen the awareness and conversations around mental health evolve in India?
First of all, most people are just taking anxiety as nothing. I really want this to reach out to all people that do not consider therapy like something which is given to a person who's sick. So many times today I've started saying, let's not call it only therapy. Let's call it consultation. Biggest of corporates also have consultants. Even though they have great honchos working for them, their monthly huge salary packages are going, yet they believe in hiring consultants because consultants give a different perspective. Anybody who joins a company wants to be a leader one day. You can't be in leadership because if you are a leader, you have to make people work.
When we are doing our day-to-days, we really forget to sit back and think about
Yes.
what could be done better, what am I doing, because we don't really have time for all of
Yes.
Welcome to today's episode of the podcast, where we delve into one of the most pressing issues of our time, workplace anxiety. Joining us is Dr. Pinky Goswami, a renowned psychologist, academic, and corporate trainer with 30 years of experience. A PhD in psychology from the University of Delhi, she has served as Dean Academics and Lead Air Chair at IILM Institute and extensively published in the fields like developmental and organizational psychology. Dr. Goswami has conducted impactful workshops for organizations such as Indian Air Force and Honda Motors, as well as schools and universities nationwide. A strong advocate for mental health and women empowerment, she is also a recipient of the Best Professor in the Human Resource Management Award by the World HRD Congress in 2017. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Pinky. It's truly a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Sashank. And I'm happy to be with you today.
Thank you so much. So to start off, you've been a practicing psychologist for the past 30 years, and over the course of your career, 1990s se leke abhi tak, you have worked and seen 5 different generations. How have you seen the awareness and conversations around mental health evolve in India?
If I have to truly start my journey itself, when I became a psychology student, I think psychology was only left to be a subject in the university. So I still remember the day when we completed and I wanted a job and I was not knowing how to go about it because I wanted to be out of academics initially. So that because I felt that this subject has a place everywhere. That was my thought when I began. And with a lot of difficulty, when I found something where it said that it's a counselor's job, and I was like very happy, okay, this is the job opening. When I go there, this person was like very, very kind, very nice. It's a big organization. He made me sit. He talked to me, and then he was like bowing his head and he's saying, "Ma'am, you're overqualified for this job." I said, "How can you take qualification as being over for a job? Now you tell me what the job is like." Finally, I come to know that it's like the executive, the front desk executive job, which they are calling it counseling. And he's not incorrect because counseling can have different classification, you see. So he wanted somebody who could talk about his organization. But what we do is that we are talking about mental health.
Right.
So see, that is the time in 90s where mental health was hardly thought of. And he was surprised. He said, "What can you do for us? I mean, with your doctorate degree and all, what can you do for us?" I said, what do you think I can't do for you?
Right.
Okay. And that's how I have started getting into many corporates. And even today, whenever I get a chance, I do make it a point to say that where can't psychology be found? Because everywhere the brain is there, psychology will be there. So, and there is no place without the brain because it's the brain which moves the machine as well. So even if it is a time of artificial intelligence, it is a brain behind. And till the time the brain exists, there will be mental health requirements. That's how I believe.
Got it. And yes, and as the new generation is coming up, there's much more talk about mental health, and people are now realizing that, whatever study or the science was already there is now more, become more appreciated that way.
Yes, Sashank, and I must tell you this, over the years as we are progressing, like there are few people who are really working in the frontiers from our associations where we are doing a lot of awareness sessions. And today I find today's generation giving lot of thought about mental health. And it's a pleasure to see children walking up, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, who's saving money from their pocket money to take their sessions. They go and tell their parents that they need to take their sessions as well. And they are taking these sessions as a benefiting thing rather than something to hide. So that's the change in the field of mental health, that today people do understand mental health. They give a lot of weightage to mental health, and they are happy to come forward and accept when they need the mental health session. So that's the change that I can tell you about.
Awesome, awesome. No, that's such a wonderful point, Dr. Pinky. And then on a related note, I would like your thoughts on a topic that has sparked a lot of debate recently. Both Mr. Narayan Murthy and Mr. S. N. Subramaniam, they have commented on the idea of 70-hour and 90-hour work week. The remarks have ignited a very heated discussion nationwide, and mainly about the balance between productivity versus what well-being means in corporate India. How do you think this conversation ties into the larger mental health narrative?
First of all, the point that you have just talked about, two big names, Mr. Narayan Murthy and Mr. Subramaniam. If you really hear them, there's a difference in what they both are saying. Very, very different. I would really want all my audience, whoever is listening to me, to go through what is spoken by Mr. Narayan Murthy and what's spoken by Mr. Subramaniam. There is a difference. Mr. Narayan Murthy is mostly talking about that when it comes to working, it has to come from within. You see? So whether a person wants to work 90 hours or wants to work 70 hours should come from within, which I completely agree. Right? So that depends on that person's own needs, the personality, and what is required to be done from his end, from that person's end. But what Mr. Subramaniam is saying is very different. He is trying to say, ki, what will you do on a Sunday, looking at your wife or staring at your wife for such a long time, which is something which he feels is that why should you waste time looking at your wife? Where I can say that when you take a gap or an off on a Sunday, it is not just looking at your wife or a wife staring back at you. It has something more to do.
Absolutely.
Now, to make you understand this, Sashank, and all the audience who is listening to me, Mr. Narayan Murthy, when he was saying it is about the person, how the person wants, whether the person wants a 70-hour work or 90-hour work, should come from within. Here, I want to put a point across to all people who are hearing me. As a human, we have a structure. Now, I would like to compare our structure with, say, maybe a vehicle, a machine, a car. If I, make this car, suppose I have the best of car, if I'm using a Mercedes and I drive the car for maybe 30 hours, 90 hours, or maybe more than that, I don't think so. It is a problem in making it run that 90 hours, okay? But the problem is that machine needs rest.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So making it run is, of course, up to the owner of the vehicle that, oh, I want it to run. So I'll make my Mercedes run for maybe 3 days at a stretch or 4 days at a stretch. But after that fourth day, my car will give up.
Right.
Because the engine might get heated up. Now, this portion will be understood by anybody because it's a vehicle, it's a car. That understanding is for a machine, kind of a iron and steel machine. But we have that understanding there. But what about our brain? What about our brain? Our brain equally needs a rest.
Absolutely.
And research, after a lot of research, this had been understood that after a 5-day or 6-day of grueling week, you need a 1-day gap, and that becomes a need for the brain to rejuvenate. Now, if the rejuvenation comes from me staring at you, Sashank, or you staring at your wife, big deal. It's all about what we need, and we need to rejuvenate. And there is no one should be commenting on what we are doing in that rejuvenation time. For example, if you ask me when I go back home, I like to go and cook. My husband says, aren't you tired? I said, no, this is what gives me happiness. This is not making me feel tired. It is making me feel refreshed. So to be refreshed, if somebody wants to just stare at his wife, so be it. But what's more important here to understand is that That 1 day break is important because that gives a break, a distraction, a kind of a rejuvenation because you're doing something different. Now, why they found that, the 2 days break or 1 day break has to be given, why it was researched like this is that we all are different, unique personalities. Somebody may be like Mr. Narayan Murthy, somebody may be like Mr. Subramaniam, somebody may be like A, B, C, D, whoever. But each person cannot be granted a leave according to their time period. Like suppose Sashank has a ability to work for say 100 hours, or Dash somebody has an ability to work for 80 hours. So we can't go into person specific. Okay. Therefore, after a lot of research, they made it like 2 days or 1 day gap after 5 days, because 5 day is a good enough time when you are getting grilled and you are in that level. So, as Mr. Subramaniam has correctly pointed, how much can you stare? And then somebody tweets in saying that how much can we stare the screen? It's not about the staring, it's about the long hours that we are doing one typical kind of job. So anything which is, doing it consistently for a longer period, the brain needs to break off and do something else.
Correct.
So 5 days, 6 days, and after that, you need a break to do something different. So if anybody is really understanding what I'm saying, it's the need. The brain needs that. That does not mean that we'll have to sit, you know, doing nothing. But it's somebody's wish. Somebody doesn't want to do anything. But frankly speaking, Shashank, our brain is never at rest.
Yeah, that's true. But again, like you truly mentioned, like a senior person like that, maybe their form of rest or their work schedule would be different. But then imposing that on on the organization, making it an ideology for the organization is not fair, because
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because each is unique, right? Each personality is unique, right? Somebody can work for 8 years, somebody cannot work for 8 years. That's their uniqueness of their brain. And we do need to respect that. So we can't go into tailor-made needs of each person. Therefore, the corporates or the organization or the schools have come down to giving a 5 day, like an average it out. So as an average, they are saying, okay, 5 days or 6 days and 1 day break. That's how the world has devised this 1 day leave in a week. That's how it is.
absolutely. And that brings me to my next question. Because this debate becomes even more poignant, when we remember the tragic incident in July involving a 26-year-old ENY employee who died by suicide due to alleged work pressure. And that itself is a stark reminder of the toll that workplace stress can take on mental health. And to set the stage for a discussion, could you help our audience understand the connection between anxiety and the intense work culture, which is often observed in corporate India?
Uh, this suicide have really evoked or triggered lot of discussions. But here I would give a different perspective. First of all, more than work pressure, it is people pressure. At many times, we can still do our own work, but many times we are not able to take what and how it is given to us. I feel somewhere people do not leave organizations, they leave people, because it's the people who makes them feel worse. One. Second thing, at many times in a school times, we do learn how to handle pressure. It's not like we don't know how to handle pressure. But in the corporates, unknowingly, the way people communicate things to us, the way people pull us down, we start feeling like losers. We start feeling like failures. At that point of time, you do need to go for your own sessions where you realize about your own self, and you start understanding that maybe you are being too sensitive, or you are taking things in a different way, or you can handle it. But many times people do not think mental health sessions are important in such things. They feel mental health sessions are important only for the disordered people, like something having bipolar or borderline. No, it's not like this. It's all of us. If suppose, Sashank, I keep telling you, Sashank, you've not done it well. Sashank, I don't think so. You're doing good. Sashank, I thought you really have that, that zing in you, but you're losing it. maybe after some time you will start feeling that, no, I think I'm not able to do it well. So where is it coming from? Maybe the way I'm telling you, maybe I'm trying to motivate you, but in a way that motivation is not working great for you. And because you are a sensitive person, or maybe whatever is your childhood, or what things coming from your subconscious. So maybe at that point of time, you feel like giving up, because suicide is actually an internal impulse.
Correct.
And in that impulse, we just go and do it. I have researched in this suicidal thing, and people who have been saved, they say that when they finally do it, they do want to be alive.
Hmm.
Actually, so you see, that's something which, because it's an impulse,
Right.
and after that you are gone. So how did you reach that impulse? Is it just the work pressure? I refuse to believe it, because work pressure can still be handled. But people pressure is something which we all need to think about. That's where my perspective is.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, and I would like to share, some statistics, especially around anxiety, and we have just talked about the suicide, and I think, and we also just talked about what are the other widespread issues in the workplace today, which is not just the workload itself, but also the people pressure. So some of the statistics that say that and that was conducted in by National Mental Health Survey in 2015. Almost 3.3% of Indians suffer from some form of anxiety. And another report from Statista highlights that 38% of people experience burnout in the workplace. These numbers are staggering. If we look at the population of India, this is a huge number. So, Dr. Goswami, do you think cultural norms in India, such as stigma around mental health or expectations of overworking, they play a vital role in worsening workplace anxiety?
First of all, most people are just taking anxiety as, nothing, because they don't want to give much thought to it. Their thoughts are mostly encircled about deadlines, or how to face up, or the presentation and all. But before that, one thing that they don't realize is how anxious they are. You see, they're continuously anxious. If even if you are the best speaker, or even if you are the gold medalist in your university, somewhere you're anxious to be in that place. Now, this anxiousness continuously is in us since, say, our teenage time. Every time we, for something to do good, or to be the best, or to win something, we are in anxiety. We are continuously in anxiety. And this is only growing. So you understand how this keeps growing. And at one point of time, it becomes like a pattern in us. Okay. But the brain is taking it minute by minute, day by day,
Hmm.
and if we are not realizing it, it's the same thing. We are not maintaining our brain. Everything's need maintenance, and so is our own being. But we are not doing anything about it. Now, if I have to say that you have a clean beard, you have a set hair, you must be going to a salon. Am I right? If you don't go to a salon, you'll do it yourself, but you'll do something about it. Otherwise, you'll look unruly. In the same way, when it comes to your own brain, your own being, your own individuality, you need to have your sessions like those salon sessions. We are so aware about our physical beauty, our appearance, but we are not so about our inner brain. You see? So we are not even giving importance there. We are not even thinking about it. We are happy, oh, I won this, or I am a best presenter, or this or that. But before that, what you have gone through, you just let it go.
Right.
But
Right.
bit by bit, your brain is getting into exhaustion, which you are calling a burnout.
Right.
Now, this burnout will somewhere impact you, and slowly, slowly, it will hit your performance. And when your performance is hit, another level of anxiety starts. Oh God, I was good. I'm not so good anymore. And then those voices coming from your system. Somebody telling you, yeah, and that's just a cycle. Somebody will say, some manager will say, you were good, but I don't know what's wrong with you. Those statements start sitting. And slowly we are in that cycle again. And we don't know when we are losing ourselves, but we are losing ourselves along with the pollution, along with the food habits, along with the way we are looking at ourselves, like the lifestyle that we are following. Everything is having an impact. But if we don't give it a thought, we are losing ourselves.
Absolutely. And that actually ties very well to the next question. I wanted to ask about whether the workforce in India is equipped to handle extended work pressures or extended work hours. And you just answered that, there's so much more they can do about lifestyle. So do you want to put some more light around, if the workforce is equipped, or what else can they do, to basically uh, achieve that?
See, you started off with extended work hours. Here, I really want to be in the principle given by our late President Abdul Kalam.
Hmm.
He says that if you're working beyond your time, does not mean that you're a great worker. It just means that you have not had good time management skill. I may not be speaking that absolute words, but this is what he meant.
Hmm.
That just because you are working beyond your work hours does not make you a great worker. It means that somewhere you are failing to manage your time well. Now, if we stay put at this, it's absolutely correct. I mean, I think that 8 hours or 9 hours that the company has signed you in is enough for that work. Now, when we are planning our work, suppose you and me are in the corporate and we are planning our work for the week, we'll have to be very realistic about you and me, how much we can do in that 8 to 9 hours. But how many in the corporates really think like this? And if they are thinking like this, suppose they've said, okay, ma'am, we have given it a thought and we have made this minute to minute and we have come to this many hours. But believe me, how much time we actually waste while we are just having after meeting sessions, after meeting the meeting is done and then we are continuously talking, or we are in somebody's table, or we are next to the water cooler sessions, we're standing near the cooler and we are talking, or we're going for a puff, or however we are continuously wasting our time, and at the end of the time we don't realize that while we were planning it, when we are planning it, we did not cater to those small breaks. We didn't. So, was it a good time management? I don't think so.
Hmm.
Because if you are a good time management person, you'll have to be realistic. You'll have to understand that, okay, if I need a puff break, I need a water cooler break, have I catered to that many, in my plan? Then I say, ki 8 hours, I will finish my work. I'll finish this presentation, sir, in 2 days. Now, 2 days means what? If I'm working 8 hours, it means 16 hours. Now, am I saying 16,
Yep.
absolute 16 hours? Or have I catered to some 2, 3 hours of my gossiping around? Or, it's okay. I mean, it's fine to talk. But the only concern is please cater to those hours in your work plan. That's how what mental health teaches you. So accept your reality. It's okay to gossip. It's okay to talk. It's okay to take a puff break. Everything is okay. But in your plan, you should have that.
Absolutely. And that brings us to a topic of productivity. Like you just mentioned that, okay, it's okay to have a limited amount of work hours, but then you should focus on productivity. So
Absolutely.
what do you think organizations can do to create a mental health first culture while still maintaining productivity?
I can really tell you that these days corporates are having a lot of work around mental health. They'll have sessions, they will have group sessions, they will have focus solution group sessions. They are also having, kind of well-being sessions, wellness sessions, or one-to-one sessions. Also, they are doing it, and I will say, ki, it is very, very important to continuously do it because mental health is not about just fill it, shut it, forget it. It's not about that. It's about consistently going in drop by drop. Like I can't say, ki, put it once and forget about it. No, it's not like that. You have to continuously go on because if you leave the brain, unattended by the mental health sessions or by the group talks or by these so-called one-on-one sessions or the well-being sessions, the brain forgets and gets into another loop. So it's just like how we maintain our hair or the beard of men. They have to be, sent to the salon once in a week or twice in a week. It's something like that. So if the brain also needs a mental health salon, I'll say.
Got it. And then on a broader level, what do you think government can do to address mental health more seriously?
The government is thinking on these lines today. I'm also, connected to a lot of government projects for abandoned children, for the government officials, and they are. I took so many sessions for the MSMEs. I've taken sessions for the first forest officials and the defense services and all. They are giving a lot of thought to the mental health, but at the same time, there's still more to go. It is till the time each, like when at times when I take any sessions in groups in these organizations, government is putting the support, but it all depends on how much I need it. For example, if somebody has called us to eat, he's giving us everything, but it depends on how hungry I am to eat the food, right? So till the time every person is hungry for that, mental health will not be able to reach.
Yes.
So individually, we need to feel the need for a mental health session, the need for a talk, the need for these group therapy sessions. This has to come from each and within. Then government, that support that is given by government, will be really doing good. So that's how I will put it.
No, absolutely. And I think the way we are headed, the current generation, the way they're headed, the way they perceive mental health, is definitely on the right track. So we should see, more and more people aware and more people understanding the impact of mental health on their overall productivity. If we're just talking about, workplaces today, so productivity and then also overall well-being as a whole. So, do you think there should be some stricter regulations or maybe incentives for the companies to prioritize employee well-being?
If you have to talk about incentives, like, can you explain what do you have in your mind when you say mental health incentives?
So, for example, there are corporate social responsibility credits that, organizations, they have to do something towards the society that includes, maybe handling or working with organizations like NGOs, they're supporting wellness for maybe disabled people, or similarly, they're doing something for the environment. So those kind of initiatives are already there, which actually has brought in a lot of, good work which has been done, or a lot of funding which is being provided by the corporates. So do you think something like that or similar program should be there for mental health as well?
Um, I wanted to hear that only because when you say social responsibility, again, it has to come from within. But since it was not coming from within, it came as a mandate. Like every corporate had to do this CSR, and today they are doing it. And while they are doing it, they are getting into a track of, and people, you can see people really wanting to do it now. But to get them on that track, we had to make it a mandate. The government in India had to make it a mandate that there will have to be CSR. So, what to do before? But for humans to make anything good for them, we'll have to make it a mandate. So, if every corporate makes it a mandate that whether you want or you don't want, you have to go for your mental health session. Slowly, I know it will be like a force because mandate is a force if you're, somebody is pushing it. But initially, it will be a push. But slowly, slowly, they will derive the good outcome, and that itself will be reinforcing them to at least understand. So, and that too, this generation is anyhow very pro mental health, very pro self. They want to look after themselves. They give importance to their own self. So I don't think so it'll be that difficult. But yes, to an extent, for some time, I think we will have to make it a mandate. Uh, Somewhere, that okay, if you will be given 4 sessions in a month, and you have to go for these sessions, something like that. And some corporates are doing it, Sashank, let me tell you.
Yeah.
They are, and what we do is that in those organizations, I just give a kind of a normal lecture, nothing specific, but the importance of it. So, and after that, they themselves start understanding and coming forward because everybody is so intelligent today. So it's all about how you make a person aware about where is the need. Like I said, it's like a salon. Now, this itself will hit many brains that, oh yes, if my hair needs a salon, if my beard needs a salon, if a gym is needed to tone up my muscles, then the brain equally needs a session to keep it toned, trimmed, and in good health.
Very well said, Dr. Pinky. And then if we talk about, individuals, so what are some immediate steps that employees can take when they feel overwhelmed or anxious at work?
If they're feeling overwhelmed at work, most importantly, they would have to give themselves a break,
Hmm.
because their emotions are all over. And if you are working in that condition, you might take some wrong decisions. So, and when you take a wrong decisions, tomorrow it may have a repercussion on their career or on their, kind of output. So it's always better if you're feeling too much, kind of overwhelmed, or your emotions are all over the place. It's better to take a little break, a small break, calm yourself down, and then get back, because at times our emotions are so strong. For example, suppose we are two colleagues, and I am super angry at you for something, like something nothing to do with office, but maybe socially I'm extremely angry at you. I'm so angry. Maybe whatever good you are doing, I'm not able to see it because I'm so angry, because anger is an emotion,
Got it.
and that emotion will be impacting me so much. So I'm actually overwhelmed. So what do? I need to first calm myself
Calm
down
down.
and put myself in one level and then go back.
Correct.
If I don't, I'll take wrong decisions about you. Maybe I am writing your report, or I'm giving your appraisal, suppose. So would I be doing a right thing there? No, maybe not, because I'm too overwhelmed by it.
Correct.
So maybe at that, and after writing it, it goes, the paper goes. But after 2 days, maybe I think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done it at that time. I was so upset, but now I'm not. But the thing is already done. I'm just giving you a small example. Work
No,
is work.
that's such a, I think, very nice example, and that actually reminds me of another example that one of my mentors told me that anytime he had to terminate an employee, he would write the termination letter and then sleep on it. He would not immediately send to that person, and then next day he would make a decision to whether really send it to that person or should we give them another chance. So, such a nice point, Dr. Pinky. And we also talked a lot about the corporate wellness programs that these companies are working on, some of the programs for their employees.
I want to add one thing here. I can't name the organizations, but these are MNCs, and I'll say that today they are so thoughtful.
Hmm.
If you remember, during the COVID time, there were a lot of MNCs who were striking off their employees, in a way, firing them.
Right, right.
And they made it a point that I be there in those meetings, and I'm present in their offices, so that when they give the termination letter, they are forced to take a session,
Hmm.
so that they don't break down, or they don't go into any cardiac issues, or they don't go and get into a suicidal impulse. That's the way the corporates are taking it now, that to terminate an employee for whatever reasons, you tell them that you have to go through a mental health sessions. That's how mental health is coming up now. That's how thoughtful corporates are also becoming. They have to, at times they have to take a harsh decision for the betterment in some way. But for that individual, it's not a great decision, right? So for them, they do cater to a mental health session. I need to tell this, that yes, some corporates are thinking even on those lines, and they're doing it.
That's so encouraging to hear. You know,
Yes.
yeah. And then we talked about some big MNCs, but in general, there are other companies which are implementing wellness programs. But how do you think they are effective? And if they are not, like, what improvements would you recommend in these wellness programs which are run by the corporates?
Uh, I really don't know. I think we need to increase budget in the wellness program as well. That's one thing. Because of less budget, they go for uh, things which actually are not giving good profit.
Good
So
profit.
if yes, so you are somewhere compromising on the quality. They are not able to go for better people, or better resource people, or so I think that budget needs to increase, and budget can only increase if everybody thinks that yes, that needs to be done in a real way, and also take a understanding about how much it has to run, how well it is run. What happens is that, I'll tell you one of my experiences in one corporate. When we started, people were not coming; they were trickling. So the HR, she came and told me that, ma'am, it's not working, you see. So I think we will stop. I said, wrong. Wrong, because You'll have to give time because everybody is very, very conscious about coming for their mental health session.
Right.
Because it is stigmatized, because they feel that, oh, she's there, she's having a problem. I'm fine. I don't have a problem. Wrong. Everyone, each one of us have a problem. You, me, everybody. It's just that we are apprehensive to reach out. So if you are trying to tell me that after 2, 3 days we say, okay, now we don't need it because nobody is coming, then you're wrong. You're nipping it in the bud, which is not the way. You have to allow those people to slowly understand that no, this is okay. So, what we need to do is that we need to have group sessions to make them understand it's just okay to accept that I also need to go and talk to someone. I can, and that's nothing wrong. And believe me, the HR person also started taking the sessions, and I can see a lot of people coming in and very happily coming in that, oh, I need to go. Do we feel embarrassed to go to a salon? No, we don't. We feel good. It's a status. So I can see that change now in that corporate. But when I started, this is what the person had said, that let's stop. So please, let's be resilient, consistent, and continuous in our approach of making mental health professionals coming to the organizations. Let them trickle, but slowly, slowly, they will come to an understanding that it's okay not to be okay, and it's okay to have sessions for yourself.
Absolutely. And we just talked about how therapy can play such an important role, in coping with workplace stress. And I think there is also a lack of, some solid metrics that these HRs would need to see that, how much they eventually benefiting from the added productivity, the added, comfort that people are feeling in the workplace. And but again, therapy is still considered an expensive means of taking care of the mental well-being. Are there any other affordable solutions that you would recommend for people who still want to go for therapy, or any
First of
other
all,
solution?
Sashank, since we are talking, I really want this to reach out to all people that do not consider therapy like something which is given to a person who's sick. No, no, no. So many times today I've started saying, let's not call it only therapy. Let's call it consultation. You see, that gives them a better feeling. Like biggest of corporates also have consultants. Even though they have great honchos working for them, where monthly huge salary packages are going, yet they believe in hiring consultants. Why? Because consultants give a different perspective.
Got it.
Okay. And in the same way, a human, they may be the most intelligent. They have a very, very great IQ. They're the best employee. But yet, if you are going for so-called a consultation session or a therapy session where you are doing your individual session, okay, you learn more about yourself. Here I would give, if I have some time, I can give you a small example.
Yes.
Now, this person, he's I think 26, 27. He's newly joined a job and he's doing great, and he was put into a team of people, and there he had two of his senior members as well. Now, over the time, he was getting frustrated because he felt that though they were in a team, these two seniors used to make him work. So he was overwhelmed, and in one of the board meetings, he goes and he tells in front of everyone that these two people are not working. I'm the only one working. It so happens that he realized something and he came for a session. He came on his own, not from the corporate. He came on his own. And when we discussed this, I said, "Do you think you did the right thing?" He says, "Ma'am, what do I do?" I said, "For that moment, you felt you did right. But do you know you are losing on leadership?"
Correct.
Because the first question which will come to anybody's mind would be, how did they not work? Why couldn't you do something to make them work? Right? So you were only overwhelmed and frustrated, but it would come that you could not delegate or you could not make things work, and that impression is going to stay. Anybody who joins a company wants to be a leader one day, but you somewhere gave this thought that you can't be in leadership, because if you are a leader, you have to make people work.
Hmm.
You see? So this, he was like stunned. He held himself for some time and he said, I never thought about it like this.
Yeah.
So where did you get this, kind of that aha feeling? Oh God, like, as if you are, it was a metamorphosis, like it's big change in his mindset. See? So, and from that time, he said that you have been correct in telling that why call it therapy? It is like a consultation. I was working in my own self. I thought this is the best way. But today, when you told me this, I understood that how important it is to be resilient and make sure that those people work. Then he asked me, how do I make them work, Sashank? He asked me, how do I? So, you know what I said?
Hmm.
When does a person work best? He said, when they are involved. I said, exactly, involve them.
Hmm.
Until unless you involve them, nobody actually wants to work. And he was overjoyed. He learned the trick. And it's nothing that I have done nothing, but it's a session which has made him today feel rich, enriched, enriched. And he's doing very well now.
That's amazing to hear,
Yeah.
because, when we are doing our day to days, we really forget to, sit back and think about what
Yes.
could be done better. What am I doing? Because we don't really have time for all of.
Yes. So the mental health sessions for any normal being without disorder is just an upkeep.
Right.
It's just an upkeep to keep yourself healthy, balanced, take the most right decisions, to take quick decisions, be agile, alert,
Yep.
and reach where you want to reach, wherever. So this is what I would like to,
No, thank you.
make people aware about.
No, very good point, Dr. Pinky. So yeah, that brings us to the wrap up. And we had planned some fun and rapid fire round just for fun and reflection. So I will just start. So mental health leave, luxury or necessity?
Necessity.
What's
But there's a
yeah.
condition.
Okay.
uh, we will have to be very honest about it, that mental health leave. It can't be like, if I say I'm not feeling well, this doesn't mean I'm physically unwell. So if today HR is only accepting a sick leave, like I have to say I'm having a headache or can I just go and say I'm not feeling well? I can't, I don't have any physical problem, but I just don't feel like, that will be accepted if we are honest.
Yes.
Okay. So it can't be in lieu. Okay, it's one of the leaves. So I have to go for a marriage. So I'll just go and say I'm not well. That cannot happen.
Yeah, then that really diminishes the value of having that program.
It is a necessity with a condition that we will be honest.
Got it. What's worse for anxiety, micromanagement or lack of clarity in roles?
Both.
One word to describe the impact of overwork on mental well-being.
If you're overworked, then the word is mental fatigue, exhaustion, burnout. Any of it.
Who holds more responsibility for workplace anxiety, employees or employers?
Both.
What's one thing Indian companies are getting wrong about workplace mental health?
Because they feel that in India, people are not very honest. They may misuse mental health, using the mental health excuse. Therefore, as of now, mental health is coming in, but it's not really a priority.
Got it.
It is floating in, but I don't see it coming it as a priority.
As a priority.
Yes.
Got it. One quick tip for calming during a high pressure meeting.
Have water sip by sip. It will immediate, because when you are getting hyper in a meeting, your hormones are all over the place. So when you have water sip by sip, it will dilute it. So somewhere it will break your thoughts, because the water going in, you can feel the water getting in. So it will be a break in that thought. It will be a break in your system, which will somewhere calm you down.
Got it. Awesome. So that ends our rapid fire round. And Dr. Pinky, thank you so much for sharing your invaluable insights on such a critical topic. Your thoughts on workplace anxiety, they have truly illuminated issues that affect so many of us. And for our listeners, I would like to say that it's time to take action. start a conversation in your workplace, share this episode with colleagues, friends, and family, and advocate for a work culture that prioritizes mental well-being as much as productivity. So together, let's create a workplace that where everyone thrives, and let's make it happen.
Thank you, Sashank, and best of luck to the team and to all my audience. Please come forward and make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Pinky. Have a really nice day.